If you're looking, let's say, at them from sideways, do you think the eyes are coming out something like they bulge out?
Yes.
Yes, they
Yes.
look like they're bulging out, right? Okay, so if you look a person from sideways, it looks like the eyes are almost bulging out. So that is one of the main problems. So, question is, what kind of eye do we have? This is the figure of our eye. Now, just by looking at it, do you think it's a perfect sphere, or there is a problem with the diagram? Do you think it's a complete
Perfect
sphere?
sphere.
It is not a
No,
perfect
sir.
sphere. You can see here, suppose let's say if we are talking about a perfect sphere, we would have closed the diagram from here. Okay, so can we say technically it has a bulge from front? It is not a sphere.
Yes.
Okay, so it is
Yes.
not a complete sphere. We call it eyeball. We definitely call it eyeball, but it doesn't mean that it's a sphere. It's not a complete sphere. So let us try to understand one thing, let's say, after the another of the body parts. In the exam, what are they going to ask you? The first thing they're going to ask you about the diagram itself. Matlab, like they will give you different things and they will ask you what is the use of them. So let us try to understand that. Question. Uh, does our eye have white, let's say, surface or maybe a white sheet, let's say, apart from the main colored part, white part?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, it
Okay.
has.
Yes.
So the
Yes.
white
Yes.
white part, we have a name for it. We call it sclera. In our book, there is no function given for it. We just need to remember that we have something called as a white part, sclera. Now, what do you think? The light passes through it or not? Do you think it's solid, or how do you think it is? Transparent, opaque?
Opaque.
Opaque.
Opaque. The light doesn't travel through it. It's an opaque surface. Okay, so basically, white part of your eye is nothing but sclera. Let us talk about the next part. Okay, so in the diagram, where have they shown that sclera? This is the sclera. Outside white part. Okay, so that is technically that outside white part. Let me just highlight it for you so that you can understand. See, this is the white part. That white part is sclera. And do we have its function in our book? Nope. What is the another property it has? It's opaque. Let us talk about cornea now. This one. Do you think that is the front part of our eye? Technically, looks like it, right?
Yes.
Okay, so
Yes.
cornea is in the most front part. Now tell me one thing. If behind that, suppose cornea is our lens, right? Cornea is first, then the light is going to come through it, and then it is going to go inside our eye. So for transferring that light, what do you think cornea is? Is it opaque or transparent?
Transparent.
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 Obviously, it is transparent because light will not pass through the lens if cornea is opaque. Okay, so we have to go for another part now. First part we have seen it's sclera, that is the white part. Let us go for cornea. Okay, so cornea is the most front part of your eye, and basically it is transparent. Acha, the light which is coming into your eye, it is coming from where exactly? Can we say air?
Yes.
Okay, and our eyes, is it a different medium?
Yes.
Okay, so what is going to happen then? Light is traveling from air to another medium. So is it reflection or refraction?
Refraction.
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 Uh,
Refraction.
okay, so refraction is happening in cornea. Great. So the light has traveled from cornea, then basically it is transparent. Refraction is going to happen at that place. Now let us talk about something more. Focus on this. This white part is called as sclera, and this particular we have two things now. One is the colored part. This one, the blue one. Blue one is the colored part. Now everybody has different colored eyes. Somebody has brown, somebody has green, somebody has blue. Okay, so there are different colors. So this is the colored part of your eye, and the center part, that is of which color? Black.
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 Okay. That colored part, we have a name for it. That colored part, we have a name for it. It is called as iris. That colored part is iris. Now, next question. Like, what is the, let's say, main thing which is given in our syllabus about iris? Can we say iris is going to give you color of your eye?
Yes.
Okay, color of
Yes.
your eye is going to be given by iris. Great. Next thing, next thing. Suppose that white part is not going to transfer that light, right? Uh, then which part exactly is going to transfer that light to the back side of our eye? That is going to be your pupil. That is going to be your pupil. This one, the black part. That black part is called as pupil. And that pupil is going to allow let's say light to pass through it. Okay, so if light is going through the pupil inside the let's say eye, can we say that pupil is like a window?
Yeah.
Okay, so that particular is like a window. So question. The center part is, we are calling it pupil. The colored part is iris. That iris can control the size of that pupil. The size of the pupil can be controlled by whom? Pupil size. How much it should be
Iris.
open or close? Iris can do it. Okay, iris can easily do it. So the light which is coming into your eye, that is definitely controlled by iris itself. Let us see the difference. If you are observing these two figures, what is the difference? This one and this one.
Size of people.
Size of pupil is large in one case and in one in small, right? So in this case, the the pupil is very small. In this case, the pupil is very small. Okay. And in this case, it is large. In which case do you think the light will be transferred more in the eye?
A small pupil.
Large one, because see, the point is that if you're this is something like your window, right? Your pupil size is more light will be coming into your eye. More light will be coming into your eye. Correct? And this is going to be when less light is going to be coming into your eye. Now, let me ask you one important question. Whenever you go outside from a dark room, let's say, does your eye try to close by themselves?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, they do. They do, right? They
Yes.
try to get close, let's say, by themselves. Okay, so are we trying to stop the light or we are trying to get more light?
We try to stop the.
Okay, so we are technically trying to stop the light. Okay. Now, main question. Out of these two, this right and left, where do you think what is going to happen when you go from dark room to, suppose, let's say, maybe sunlight outside? Your pupil size, it's going to get small or big?
Small.
Small.
Small. Small.
Small. Very simple. Because if it gets small, less light will be entering your eye. And if less light is entering your eye, then your eyes will be saved. Correct? So we just want to know what happens if that pupil size doesn't change. Can we say our eyes let's say, might get damaged because of the extra light which is coming inside our eye? Too much bright light.
Yes.
Okay, so eye is very delicate. So our eyes can get affected if the pupil size is not decreasing. So let us try to understand this. Iris is controlling pupil size, correct? And both of them are responsible for the light which is entering your eye. So in the exam, if they ask you, who is going to control the amount of light that is entering your eye, would you write pupil or iris?
Iris.
See,
Iris.
technically both answers are correct, but more correct is iris. Why? Because iris is controlling the pupil size, so pupil has no control over it. Pupil follows whatever the order is given by iris. That's it. So technically, pupil will not be, let's say, responsible for this particular point, that is the light entering into your eyes. Let us talk about this. So let us revise this. So if it's a dark room, if it's a dark room? Pupil size will increase or decrease?
Increase.
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 Increase, so that more light should enter your eye. Pupil size increases. And if pupil size is increasing, then what do we call it? We call it contracts or dilate?
Dilate.
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 Okay, so that means if pupil size increases, we are going to say our eyes are dilated. Let's say, let me tell you one thing. Suppose, let's say, if some doctor wants to examine your eye, what do you think? The pupil size should be small or less? Like it should be small or large? If some doctor wants to see your eyes, wants to see what is happening at the back,
Small.
Small.
it should be no, it should be large. It should be
It should
large.
be
See, with small size, you might not be able to see what is happening behind the eye. Your eye is like this, right? If this is so small, other outside part is already opaque. The only part is this one, that which is let's say transparent. Now, because of that, we need that part, let's say a bigger one, so that we can see what is happening inside the eye. So, doctor is going to check your eyes with the help of dilation if something is required. Now, question is, are let's say how to do it, because we just have to go in the dark room and only then it is possible. So this is possible also with the help of medicine. Okay, some drops can be put and you can make your eyes dilated. So a question for you. So doctors are going to examine your eye if your pupils are dilated. Can we make them dilated with the help of drops like medicine?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Definitely we can. And is it permanent or is it temporary?
Temporary.
Temporary.
Temporary, of course. How it can be permanent? Because we need to have that method, right? Now, next one. Let us talk about your eyes. Next part. This one. Let us talk about lenses. Lenses. Acha, have you used your cameras of your phone? Of course, right? Many a times, mobile phones.
Yes.
Yes. So when you are trying to focus some object, does your camera immediately focus or it takes some time? You need to tap your phone and then it focuses.
It
Yes.
takes
Take
some
some
time.
time.
It takes some time. You need to tap it and only then it is possible, right? Tell me one thing. If suppose this is happening through a lens, do we need to change the size of it to see the objects which are at distant, like long distant, and some
Yes.
objects which are near? Do we need to change the size of this lens?
Yes.
Yes.
Of course, matlab like internally it needs to let's say change some kind of thing, and only then you can see distant object or near object. Now, for the same reason, your lens, are you able to see distant objects and near objects?
Yes.
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 So, question is the lens, the size is changing or not then?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
It
obviously
changed.
the size of the lens might be changing. Now, question is how? Because the lens we have, the lens in our eyes, it is not a solid object. It's a jelly-like material. What kind of material? Jelly-like, something like your jam, bread jam. And your bread jam, that is flexible, right? You must have eaten many a times. So it's very much flexible. In the same way, your lens is a jelly-like material which is very flexible. Okay, let us revise. Let us revise. I will ask you certain questions and then you have to answer. Tell me the part of your eye on which the light is incident. Matlab, like, where refraction happens.
Iris.
Cornea.
Cornea. Cornea is the first part where your
Cornea.
refraction happens. Cornea. Cornea. What is the name of your white part of your eye?
Sclera.
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 Sclera is the white part. What is the name of the colored part of your eye? This one, the blue one.
Iris.
Iris.
Iris is the colored part, exactly. And the light comes into our eye with the help of iris or pupil.
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 Okay. And who is going to control the size of pupil?
Iris.
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 Iris. Iris. And how are you able to see the distant objects and near objects? What is the special?
By
What
the
is so
lens.
special about your lens?
Lens.
No, no, but I know the lens, but what is so special about it that you are able to see distant and near objects also? Anything special about your lens? What it is made up of? It is made up of what exactly? Looks like what?
Jelly-like structure. Jelly-like.
Jelly-like structure.
Yes, so that's the important point. You are able to see the distant and clear objects because it is made up like from a jelly-like material. That's the reason. So you should always remember this. There is a very special property of your lens, and that is it is having a jelly-like material. Now, let us talk about retina. Retina. Where is that retina? This one? Okay, so this is your retina. Let us talk about this. So the light rays are going to come. I will just draw the diagram. You tell me what exactly is the function of retina. See, this is the incoming ray, and this is another ray which is coming. Can we say the image is going to form here? Can we
Yes.
say that? Okay.
Yes.
So basically, like retina is like a screen. Agreed? Retina is like a screen.
Yes.
Okay. So, what kind of screen are we talking about? Is it like the movie screen? Suppose, let's say we go inside the theaters, we watch movies on the front. Suppose, let's say that screen is it something like that? Like the image is getting projected. The rays are coming inside, and then it is getting projected on the retina. Agreed?
Yes.
Okay. Now, tell me one thing. Whatever is incoming, the rays, they are light rays, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So they are hitting exactly what? What is that screen called as?
Retina.
Retina. Okay. So that screen is retina. Okay. Next question for you. It is transferred to brain. How messages are transferred inside our body? Which energy is required? Electricity? Like example, let's say we transfer everything in the form of messages through electrical signals. So tell me one thing. If incoming is light, outgoing is electricity. So don't you think this conversion is required?
Yes.
We need to convert that light into electricity only, then we can send it to eyes. To brain. Agreed? We can send the information to brain only if they are converted. We want to know how it is getting converted. Is it okay? I hope you're understanding this. Okay. Now this is accomplished by whom?
Yes.
This conversion is accomplished by retina. So so there are two functions then. Retina is acting like a screen, and it is also converting. Converting what to what? Converting light rays to electrical signals. It is converting light rays to electrical signals. And where it is sending?
To brain.
To brain.
Brain.
And brain has what kind of cells? Neurons, right? Neurons. Okay, so basically like we are sending messages to brain through neurons, and we have a name for it. Do you see this nerve which is at the back of our eye? This one.
Yes.
Okay, so that retina is connected to that, and that is called as optical nerve. It is called as optical nerve. Nerve means connected to brain. Optical means what? Related to eye. Okay, so eye nerve. Are you understanding the meaning of it? Eye nerve means what? Which is connected to your eye and brain. So through with the help of this particular nerve, we are going to send messages to brain. Let me know if you're okay with this.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, question for you. Do you remember that even in our ears, the sound was coming as vibrations, and it was converted by cochlea correct? And it was then sent to brain. What was so special about cochlea? It had what kind of cells? Sound sensitive cells. Okay, sound sensitive cells, and they were able to convert that. Now tell me one thing. Retina must be having also the special cells. So they might be sensitive to what?
Light.
Yes, very simple. Light is sensitive cells. So what is so special about retina? It has light sensitive cells which convert that light into electrical signals. Now question is, are there some types? So yes, we have two types. We have two types of cells which are present in retina. One is rod, one is cones. Okay. So we do not have functions of them, but just you can remember that it has two cells, that is rods and cones. Now another question. This is our eye. These are the incoming rays. Suppose this is you. Do you know what kind of image are we going to get on the screen? On the screen, we are going to get this kind of image. Is it erect or inverted? Whatever we are getting.
Inverted.
Inverted. Okay, and it is real also. Okay, so real and inverted. Now question is why and how exactly? See, it doesn't matter. That is the problem of our eye, that it is going to create inverted image. Now, but do we see inverted objects or do we see erect objects?
Erect object.
But the image created is inverted. Then who might have changed it? What is the another thing which is present between this object, this eye, and the next part? Okay, so who do you think has changed this object again to erect position?
Brain.
Okay, so can we just say that eyes are going to give us inverted image, but brain is going to interpret in proper form, like erect form? Agreed?
Yes.
Okay, so that is another thing. Let us revise this. Retina is acting like a screen. It has what kind of cells? What sensitive cells?
Light sensitive cells.
Okay, light sensitive cells. Do we have names for it?
Rods and cones.
Okay, rods and cones. What kind of image are you getting on the screen?
Real and inverted.
Real and inverted. Okay. And it is going to send, suppose, signals to brain through what?
Optic nerves.
Okay, so basically optic nerve is going to be used to send the signal from eyes to brain. This is exactly what we have studied. Great. Now let us talk about next part. Okay. That gray part is your lens. That gray part is your lens. Do you see this part? Let me highlight it. This one. Can you see them? Is it connected to our lens?
Yes.
Yes, it's connected to our lens, right? This is our lens, and this is something called as ciliary muscle. Okay, what is the main function of muscle, by the way? Any muscle, not just this muscle. Contract and relax. Basically, contract and relax is the function. Now, question for you. Eye lens, if it is changing size, who is responsible for changing that size?
Ciliary muscles.
So simple. See, the function is very simple. The lens size is changing. It is not going to change on its own. So there must be someone who is changing the size of the lens, and that is ciliary muscles. Okay. Now, tell me one thing. Young people and old people, right? If you are comparing, like if you are comparing you and your grandfather and grandmother, whose muscles are very strong? Like maybe suppose hand muscles, leg muscles, whose muscles are strong? Yours or grandfather? Yours, obviously. Reason, you are young, that's why. Okay. Now, what is the problem with your grandfather and grandmother? Can we say with the old age, muscles become weak?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes, sir, maybe.
Okay. So, this ciliary muscle, this is also a muscle, right? Don't you think it will also become weak?
Yes.
Someday maybe. What do you think? Old people have a problem of eyesight, right? They require, uh, let's say, spectacles. They require a lot of things. They cannot see the objects clearly. Now, can you tell me the reason which part is getting weak by the age?
Ciliary muscles.
Muscles.
Ciliary muscles are getting weak, right? So you have another answer for your, let's say, general knowledge, that old people, their ciliary muscles are getting weak, and that's why they are not able to see clearly. Great. Now, another question for you. Just let's say, watch this diagram. This retina, it's a screen, right? It's a screen which is present from this part to this part. Is there a gap in between? The screen, do you think the screen is like this or like this? A or B?
B.
B. There is a gap, right? That gap has been created because of what? What is that back part? This tube, what would we call it?
Ray. Nerves.
Optic nerve, right? Eye nerve, optic nerve, that is what we call it. So can we say there is a gap, and we are able to see the image because it falls on retina? What if the image is falling on this particular point? Can we say the image will not be created because screen is not there, the cells are not there, retina is not there?
Yes.
Okay, so what are we going to see then? Can we say nothing? Okay, so that's called as blind spot. That is called as blind spot. Let me give an example. Suppose, let's say, if you're watching some object, sometimes it seems like you have a black spot in front of you. Sometimes, matlab, it's just for a minor second, but if you see some kind of object, that it seems like there is a black spot.
Yes, sir.
Observe sometimes. That is due to the blind spot. The blind spot is where? On the retina. And why that blind spot exists? Because optic nerve is present there, and because of which there are no cells, so we don't see any image. Okay, so can I ask you certain questions now? Just revision part, so that will be easy.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Chaliye, first question for you. Who is controlling the size of pupil?
Iris.
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 Okay, size of pupil is getting controlled by iris. Who is controlling the size of lens?
Ciliary muscles.
Okay, it is ciliary muscles. Next one. What is the, let's say, who is called as screen of your eye?
Retina.
Retina.
Okay. What kind of image do you get on retina?
Real and inverted.
Inverted and real.
Real and inverted. Even if you get real and inverted image, you still are able to see erect image. Why?
Brain does it.
Okay, so brain does the interpretation, right? Brain actually processes the image and gets you erect image. This transfer from retina to brain, how is it happening? What kind of signals are we using?
Electrical signals.
Yes, we are using electrical signals from retina to brain. Exactly. Next question. Blind spot is present where exactly? On which part of the eye?
On retina.
Okay, it is present on retina. We are not able to see anything on this, but if the image is falling on blind spot, we are not able to see it. What is the reason?
There are no cells present.
Okay, because as it has no, let's say, cells of retina, it's a blind spot, there is nothing. So because of that, there are no cells and we are not able to see image. Another question for you. Why that blind spot exists in our eye? What is the reason?
Optic nerves passes from there.
Because optic nerve is connected to our eye at that particular place. Optic nerve is present. Great. Okay, so like you are, let's say, able to give the answers for, let's say, almost all the questions. That's really great. Eye lens, is it made up of a solid material or jelly-like material?
Jelly-like
Jelly like
material.
They like material.
Okay, jelly-like material. And if you go in a dark room, your eyes will get contract or they will get dilated.
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 Dilated, exactly. And why our eyes get contracted or dilated? What is the reason? Why does it even happen? Because you don't control it. It happens as it is. Matlab, like automatically, if you go into the outside world, your eyes basically like they let's say they try to close. Why? What happens?
For the passage of light.
To stop the light.
Nay, that is okay, stopping the light and everything. Can we say actually our eyes are defending themselves? They're trying to protect themselves.
Yes.
Yes, so that is actually the reason that why our eyes are trying to shut off, let's say, by themselves is because eyes are trying to protect themselves. Very simple. Okay, so that was, let's say, for today. I guess it was interesting. This topic is interesting or not?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
But
Yes, it was.
see, you will, let's say, feel more interest in this once we start our quizzes. So, as I told you, the exams of this are going on uh, of class 10th. So, because of that, we will be starting the quizzes, but it might be in the first week of December. Will it be okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sir.
So for your
Okay.
practice of school exams, because if you practice more, I am very sure that you are going to get, let's say, proper marks in the exam, and that too without tension. Okay, so that was all for today. Your attendance has been marked. You have next period. You can go for that. If you have any doubt, you can stay and ask. But if you don't, then we will meet tomorrow. Tomorrow, even if it is Sunday, we are going to have an extra class. Fine.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Bye. Okay, sir. Bye. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Bye, sir. Have a great day.
Thank you, sir. Have a great day.
You do better. Enjoy. Bye bye.